I'm fine.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We're at the Bournemouth International Centre. We've just seen Chris Billam-Smith defend his WBO world title against a very, very tough Masternak, Froch-Groves. Just your reaction to that fight and how it played out.
Yeah, crazy fight. Heart in your mouth fight if you're a Chris Billam-Smith fan. He made it hard for himself a lot of the time, but to his credit, weathered the storm. And got the win, which at times didn't look likely, But with Chris, you know that he just doesn't give up. He keeps going. He can break someone's heart, and it felt like if he could just make those slight adjustments, make those adapt to what was coming in front of him. If he even could just back Masternak up and not get countered after. Use his jab, get the body shots, involved, which Shane McGuigan in the corner was telling him that it could change in his favour, and it did, fortunately, for all the fans here in Bournemouth.
You say about the fans here in Bournemouth, 3,500. That's one of the best atmospheres you'll ever see in boxing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is. It's too cold to go outside now, but if it wasn't, then they probably would have to have found a new venue. But yeah, the fans have come out in force. These are fight fans that have been neglected. So now we're back down here. Lee Cutler on the undercard. Fantastic reception for him as well. Great performance from him. He got a points win, picked up the English title. So boxing in Bournemouth is thriving. It's a lovely part of the world, so I love coming down here and covering it.
It certainly is. And someone ringside, Richard Riatpour, that fight could potentially happen next. I think the WBO are going to order a mandatory, and it could be Richard. Surely for every British fight fan to get that rematch, this time for the world title, be perfect to hear potentially a stadium next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if it does get made and it ends up in the summer, then we're back at the Bournemouth Stadium. Chris Billam-Smith is the big draw in the UK in the cruiserweight division. It's big names, big fighters, but Chris is the one who brings the value, and now he is the champion. So it's wonderful for him, and they're all gunning for him. You have to stay switched on, but I'm sure there's plenty of options out there for him. Everyone's steering him in this Richard Riatpour sort of avenue, but he's got to be looked after as well, and hopefully a deal can be struck, and we see that fight.
Yeah, certainly. I just want to kind of ask you about a fight that I know you was at last night and I was at. Probably one of the best fights I think I've ever seen live. Give it just a quick mention. Jack Martin versus CJ Challenger. That was absolutely unbelievable. I bet you didn't think you was going to be commentating on that sort of fight last night.
No, it was an incredible fight. It was a great show. Johnny Clark, top tier, over in Brentwood. And there was Fee on the undercard. Zach Fee. Out of the St Mary's, I think, gym. Great prospect. There was an incredible fight between Challenger and Martin. Didn't know which way it was going to go. It was a fight that it's sad to see a loser, but it was a conclusive finish. So I'm not sure if it's up online yet, but hopefully it will be soon. Me, Barry Jones and Co were there commentating, so hopefully it's up somewhere. Give it a chance to watch it out. It's a contender for Fight of the Year, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Marcus McDonald tweeted today that that's his top 5 fights he's ever reffed of all time, and he's been reffing 35 years. Just last one, George, before we go. Have you enjoyed kind of reminiscing about the Carl Froch fight? Because it's been 10 years since, and it seems like everywhere on your podcast, Boxing News, you're talking about it too much, mate.
Yeah, we did a feature on our podcast. We did a watch along or a Froch along, which Dec came up with. I think it's quite funny. But I mean, to be honest, it stirred a couple of emotions in the belly as 10 years on. And I think, but it's all good. I'm seeing Cole tomorrow. We got work, not on a social yet. Our Christmas party ain't quite booked in yet, but I see Carl a lot. We do a lot of work together, and we got a good relationship, which is something that I never thought would have been the case. Certainly not 10 years ago. But yeah, that's great, and it's lovely that 10 years on we've got something that is a little bit tangible that people still remember, still talk about. And as much as he's probably fed up at the sight and sound of me, sometimes I might be of him. There's appreciation and respect between the pair of us for what we did.
10 years ago, you probably didn't even think you'd be able to sit in the same room with each other, though, let alone do hours upon hours of podcasts, chats and talking.
No, definitely not. We were kept apart. Like, we had to be kept apart. Otherwise, there would have been more than just the two fights, I think.
Excellent, George. Thank you very much for speaking to IFL TV, and I'll see you soon, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
I'm fine.